Showtime?
Go time.
What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Peter and Miles podcast. And today is a very special episode as we have a very special guest, a good friend of ours, Chris, who owns and operates the Filmstock YouTube channel. So, Chris, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you joining us for this episode.
Absolutely. Good to be here. I know we often talk Cobra Kai, but it'll be fun to chat other stuff as well today in the superhero world.
Absolutely. And this is a Spider-Man podcast, but there's a lot of Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent type things that we want to dive into today. So I think it's safe to kick things off with brand new casting news of Stranger Things star Sadie Sink being casted in the highly anticipated Spider-Man 4. So, and Chris, I know you are a Stranger Things enthusiast, so I'm going to let you kick things off here.
This is the man, right?
Absolutely. I remember I got this notification on Twitter just randomly on like some random day it dropped, and I always like fact check to see if those like outlets are correct, and then it was like, oh, the big trades are like actually reporting this, and I was like, oh, here we go. And so I read about it. Obviously there's no role for her yet that we know of, but she's been cast, and so the theory started running wild with it, and there have been so many good ones. Like, is she going to be a classic Spider-Man character? Is she going to be like Jean Grey in the X-Men? And honestly, if I had to pick one, I would love it if she was Jean Grey, because I'm thinking like longevity of time in the MCU. And to me, if she's Jean Grey and is introduced in the Spider-Man movie, that could sort of launch her to be Jean Grey for 10 years in the MCU and, you know, a series of X-Men films if they're to take on sort of like an Avengers level role moving forward. So I think I would be game for that. But the best theory I've heard, and came from my friend, he sent it to me. Someone was theorizing, love it, that she could be playing Mayday, and like canonically, she could be Toby and Kirsten Dunst's like their Peter and MJ, like the daughter in live action. And I was like, that is fantastic. So there's like two routes: traditional Spidey character or like X-Men, and I'm game for her to be more X-Men. But those two really I want to see her be one of them personally.
That's interesting because me and RJ, I think we have a different idea of what we are hoping. But I have heard that the Mayday Parker theory for Kirsten and Toby's iterations of their characters, that would be kind of interesting to me. And we think it's they might go with an adaptation of Gwen Stacy.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. RJ,
I'm totally cool with that, honestly.
For me, if this is like an X-Men movie, I would love it if it was Jean. Like, I don't want Jean. Like, if she's Jean, like I would be down for it, but just not at like in a Spider-Man movie. Like, if we're building towards the X-Men, like I do want someone to play like Jean, the characters of Jean, Cyclops, like for like 10 to 15 years. Like, I want it to be like a longevity type thing. And I would rather her, like, if it's in a Spider-Man movie, like I'm going with two options, either Spider-Gwen or like Gwen Stacy. For me, I saw people like bring up like the whole age thing. And it's like, I don't really know what type of take they're going for. It could be like, she might not even be a love interest to Peter. It could be like a thing of like a friendship type thing. Me personally, I hope it's the Gwen route. Obviously, I hope to find out what's going on with this movie, because I mean, I don't want it to be multiversal. I'm sure you don't either.
No, I don't. And to your point,
yeah,
that's the fear of it being Jean Grey, because if it is Jean Grey, that kind of opens the door to it, like almost guaranteeing that they're going No Way Home with it again. Yeah. And I want this to be a street level Spidey movie. So that's where I'm like, she could be cast as Jean Grey, but just have her in like a post-credit scene, like comparable to what they did in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like have a post-credit scene in that movie. You know, you've got one that there's a truck driving by outside. Sorry. So you've got one in Ant-Man and the Wasp that like that movie takes place between Avengers movies, and the post-credit scene like the whole movie, it's taking place prior to Infinity War, but then the post-credit scene is like, boom, it kind of coincides with Infinity War into Endgame in a sense. And so since the Spider-Man movie is technically like it's on the schedule to be between two, I really am game for Jean Grey to be in this movie, but in like a post-credit scene, because I don't want the entire movie to be multiversal again. No Way Home, like the ending perfectly launched that Spidey to be like your street level friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And so I want him to have that fresh start living at the apartment, like doing his own thing, more low key. But I feel like Sony specifically wants to capitalize off the success of No Way Home at the box office, which was multiversal. So they're going to look at that and go, well, this movie made almost $2 billion worldwide. We got to go in on the multiversal thing again. So I worry about that.
Me too. Big time. Because I want that grounded Spider-Man story for Tom's Peter Parker, because we got a little bit of that in Homecoming, but not enough. And I'm just ready for that street level Marvel overall, let alone for my favorite Marvel character.
To add on to your point, like we'll talk about it later on with Doomsday, but I feel like they put themselves in a hole where they put Spider-Man 4 like after, in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. And that's my biggest worry, is like how Doomsday is gonna end. If you know that comic, the Secret Wars comic, like Battle World is created, and it's like I don't mind Battle World, like a Spider-Man movie, like it's Battle World New York, but it's just like a heightened reality and stuff. But it just I don't want it to be like a direct sequel to Doomsday. I want it to be a direct sequel to No Way Home. Like this is a fresh start for Tom iteration of Spider-Man. And I just feel like with the whole multiverse thing with the MCU, I just feel like it's been a lot of hit or misses, like hits and misses. It's not like just hits and stuff. But regards to Sadie, like I feel like she would be the perfect Gwen. Like if they go for like a punk rock angle of Gwen, like max, like just max it. Like it's from Stranger Things. It's perfect. But there's like lots of rumors like she has powers in the movie. Like there's some scoopers that have said like she's playing like she's not playing Jean, but like I think I heard somewhere yesterday where someone said she's not playing Jean, but she's playing someone with powers. I'm like Spider Gwen? Like well, like I don't know, but either way, like I'm happy for her because like to me, she's like the best out of the kids, like actress and best actor. Like she's really talented. I feel like she stole the show last season, and it's interesting to see her do this. But I would prefer Jean for her specifically, like. But if it was not in a Spider-Man movie, so since it's a Spider-Man movie, I'm going the Gwen route, either Gwen or maybe Carly Cooper. I don't know, but I'm going Gwen Stacy. That's my pick.
And it's interesting because, I mean, I have not seen Stranger Things. Don't shoot me, Chris. But even from like,
I'm out. No, I'm kidding.
just from like that picture from the casting announcement, I'm like, I could see a punk rock Gwen iteration right there. And
if you watch season 4, like she has a very like punk rock attitude. Like she doesn't like look punk. Like she doesn't have like the Gwen look, but like the costume designers and makeup, they can like easily make that. Like she's a really talented actress. She's really good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that she's the most talented. Not even of like the kids. She's one of the most talented, just straight up actors on the show. Like of all ages. Like she's got a very bright future ahead of her. I almost view her as like our new Emma Stone in a sense.
Yeah,
she's gonna like go on to win Oscars. Emma Stone played Gwen Stacy, so I do see that point, and like I would love to see her be introduced as Gwen because then we could still have her around in the MCU. And, you know, they might be wanting to do a live action Spider-Verse down the line. You got to think about that because you know, money, you know? So they could totally do that.
Yeah. If they do it, like, I feel like maybe it's Beyond. I don't know. Like, maybe Beyond is like the one that's like, they bring in like live action characters. You just never know. That movie could be balls to the wall. But they better do it before the multiverse saga ends. That's all I got to say. But,
valid.
It's interesting.
All the Gwen Stacys have had great careers thus far. Haley Steinfeld, Emma Stone, Bryce Dallas Howard. Man, they've all gone. Pretty
funny enough, you say that Haley's won an Oscar. I'm pretty sure she won like when she was like really young. I think she was like 13 or something. Emma Stone's won an Oscar, and then Sadie Sink, she could win an Oscar in the future. So
100% could. I'll tell you what. I do not want her to be MJ. I know that there's theories
I
she
hate
could be
that
an MJ.
theory, man.
I despise it.
I hate
Enough.
it.
We don't need that. We already have Michelle
I'm
Jones.
sorry.
We're good.
That's
If
our
they do
MJ,
that,
man.
Yes.
That's a bad. No, I'm sorry. If both studios do, that's a bad look, bro.
I agree.
I don't
It'd be
think Tom would
terrible.
go for that either. Like, I don't think he would go for that.
No way. Just give Zendaya her red hair, and then we're good.
Wow,
We'll walk
you're
we'll
the
walk
red hair.
loaded.
You're good.
Yeah.
If Sadie,
But,
yeah, like the classic Gwen look, $1 billion movie right there. That's all you need.
It's game over. And
Game over.
I'm hoping this is a sign to come for announcements, because isn't CinemaCon, when is that again, RJ?
That's next week. So
Yeah.
Sony's Monday. And they have like a 2-hour panel. So I'm assuming they're gonna talk about the new Karate Kid movie, which we don't really care about.
No.
28 years later, they got a lot to talk about, but the Spider-Man angle, like beyond the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 4, that's what we want, because it's about time we get some updates on both of those films. So, especially Spider-Man 4. Jesus Christ.
Literally every month, it seems, or every week, RJ just goes, "Can we get some Spider-Man 4 news, please?"
It's that and the Batman Part 2. It's those two films I want news on.
Oh man, dude. I think the most of the three, I think the one that it sucks that we're not getting updates on is Beyond, because it was like it had a release date like in March, out like less than a year after Across, and then it's just been delayed indefinitely, and it's like this movie might never actually come out. That's the one that frustrates me the most, because it was like on the calendar. We were like, oh, only a few more months, technically less than a year, and then it was just disappeared. So that one frustrates me.
Do you
Especially
guys
since
think
that massive cliffhanger with
Yes.
the kind of Across.
Yes,
It's like, come on, man.
the movie's incomplete.
If that was like if it was like coming out the year after, I'd be like, okay, that's fine, you can do that. But they did that, and then it's like, well, it's delayed for the time being, and it's like, oh damn.
Coming up on 2 years.
I wonder if they like changed plans, because wasn't it like they decided to split like both like the ideas. It became so big, like Across. It became so big that they were like, okay, we're gonna split it into like 2 movies. I'm pretty sure I heard that from somewhere, but I wonder if like they changed like some plans for it, like after Across came out or something like that. Maybe that's why it's taking a while.
It could be. I know that the animation is very strenuous.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and maybe they're like cooking up something even more insane animation wise, so it's just going to take like a ton of time. But even then, I wish they wouldn't have given us the promise of like a March or May 2024 release.
Yeah,
I hate when studios do that, where they'll say it's coming out here. Like I understand certain things happening, but it's like, if you didn't think it was coming out the year after, why did you say it? Like,
and it's like always superhero movies for the most part. Like 90% of the time, that happens with superhero movies. So
yeah, it's unfortunate, but hopefully this is a sign to come for many more announcements. I know we're all clamoring for it, and we want to know who this damn villain is, and just any news we can get our hands on for like the plot.
I wish it was the original plot where it was Matt and Peter taking on Kingpin and Scorpion. That's what I wanted. Like, there was
Michael
like
Mando coming back.
I don't know why. Like, Better Call Saul. Like, come on, bring it back. I don't know why they won't bring it back. But I think I'm not sure if you follow the Cosmic Circus on Twitter or anything, but I believe he put out like an article, like the rumored like Spider-Man 4 plots. Apparently, there was one plot line where it was going to include the Prowler, Tombstone at one point was in one of the drafts, I think. But I really wanted King. Like I wanted Daredevil and Spidey, man. I really want that. Every time I watch Daredevil, like I just want it. I need him next to the Tom's Spider-Man. Like it's just right there. Like it's
needed.
Like that 90s animated series, man.
Right,
exact tone. I want that.
Like especially like he's getting a black suit apparently in season 2. Like, come on, man.
I mean, we got it in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man this year, like a little interaction between the two. But I want to.
It's great, but
but I want to see it in live action.
Because I was like, it's right. Like, it's one of those movies where it's like, okay, No Way Home ended with him like completely on his own, and then with Daredevil, especially, and we'll talk about it like later on. But Kingpin's like doing an anti-vigilante act, and he name dropped Spider-Man, so he's pretty much been active post No Way Home. was like, it's right there. That's your plot. Like, do it. Like, what are we doing? Like, just do it. I don't care about the multiverse. I do not care. Just do it. It's right there. Oh man.
Exactly. I guess on that note, we'll shift gears into Daredevil. First 4 episode 5 tonight. Super stoked
And
about
6, I
that.
think.
But,
Yeah, 2 episodes. Yeah.
oh, it's both.
I'm pretty sure they're dropping. Like, I think I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
5 6.
Let's go. There must be some good stuff on that. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Chris. Give me the scoop on your thoughts for Daredevil, man.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've seen the whole season, so I have to.
Oh,
put the
that's
disclaimer
I
out there.
forgot.
So I will not say anything, obviously. But yeah, episode 4, the one that just came out last week, that scene. Are we allowed to talk spoilers here? Like, with
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The Frank and Matt scene is one of my favorite scenes in a long time in the MCU because Bernthal's Punisher is the man. I mean, I love that casting.
Man,
I think that he is overlooked when people are like putting together lists of like best comic book movie or show castings. I think that Bernthal's Punisher is wildly overlooked because he just owns that role, dude. Like, electric scene when he enters the screen, like, this show is immediately elevated anytime he's on screen. And that moment, it just hit me, dude. I know that I've seen that same reaction across social media, but Daredevil Born Again, man, I love it, dude. I love it. And yeah, in the rest of the episodes too, that they stick the landing. That's all I'll say. But no, the shock value of the opening, 15 or so minutes of that first step, and then just like a year time jump, you got Matt dealing with this trauma. Like, we get some courtroom scenes with him, but we also, get I can't even, man. I want to say a lot, but we'll have to revisit after the season comes out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we'll do a follow up on that.
Yeah, please.
RJ and I have definitely talked about, like, you can definitely tell it's different from the Netflix show, but it still offers like kind of a fresh perspective on the Daredevil and Matt Murdock personas. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I know there's a lot of people that were really like had some strong opinions on Foggy's death and some other things, but we weren't really bothered by it, and we're liking what we're seeing so far. But RJ, you want to elaborate some more on what?
So before Born Again came out, I rewatched like the Netflix. I think the Netflix show is like easily like the best Marvel. It's arguably like the best comic book show that we've ever gotten, but I think it's leaps and bounds better than any Disney Plus Marvel show. Especially season 3. Season 3, when I first watched it, I was like, that was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as like season 2. But I felt like it was like the best season. Like, it's like a character study on Matt. It's like if Vince Gilligan wrote Matt Murdock. That's how I felt about season 3. But what I like about Born Again and what they're doing, I'm a sucker for slow burns, and I like that they're not trying to go all in. They're not trying to be the Netflix show. They're taking like what the fans liked about the Netflix show, but they're trying to put their own stamp on it, which I can appreciate. I think the biggest issue with some of the criticisms that I have is like people are trying to compare it to the Netflix show, and it's like it was never gonna be the Netflix show again. Like, it's not. It's a whole new team, and they brought back some people from the Netflix era, but it's Kevin Feige that's running things now, so it's not going to be like it's going to be a higher budget, it's going to be everything. But I understand some of the criticisms, like the filmmaking aspects. I do agree with some of the critiques, but Foggy's death, I don't know. I'm 50-50. If you know your comics, you know that maybe there's a chance that he's not dead. But I really like what they're doing with Matt and Fisk, where they both are trying to move on from their past, and then they just can't do it. Like, like something always happens where like it really brings out like their anger and stuff. And we saw it last episode with the ending where Fisk, he's got the Atom guy, like has a whole cell made for him. He's just eating dinner. Oh my, you're sick, dude. But I think that scene with Frank, I'm gonna say something controversial, that a lot of MCU fans might not agree with. They don't write scenes like that in the end. Like phases 1 through 3, there's no scene like that. Like that was deep. And I rewatched it today, and I got teary eyed. Like John Berthal's like acting, and both of them are just amazing. And just the way like John's like, I still hear my little boy. Like I was like, oh man. Yeah. And then Matt just starts to cry, because it's like I saw someone say it where like Matt kind of went, his girlfriend, his new girlfriend, she's a therapist. He kind of went to Frank for his own therapy session, like because there are some things that Frank he is right on. Yeah, Bullseye got life, but like he's still like alive. Yeah, he's in prison for life, but he's alive, and Foggy's gone. And I just love how like John Berdahl, like you could just tell he just loves to like act as Frank. Like he was like, oh, for Christ's sake, your sister. Like he just, and then when Matt slapped him, it was so funny because he's like, I apologize. But Frank, I agree with Frank in there. Like I agree when it comes like both of their like, they have different takes on the system and how to handle like justice, and I find myself agreeing with Frank a little bit more, and especially with that scene, it's like, yeah, like you gotta like you can't you want to put back on the mask, like, and like when he tells him, I don't think you came for my help, you asked for permission, or like he's right, and I do agree with Frank on that one, but I'm enjoying the season so far. Episode 1 was kind of okay. I was like it was decent, but it keeps getting better and better, and that's what I'm enjoying about it. But episode 4 was easily the best episode in my opinion. I'm sure you know why. Like it's John Berthal.
Yeah, man. You reminded me when you were talking of one of my favorite elements of the show so far, because having seen the whole thing, it's difficult for me to picture like the stop point of where people are caught up to. But you reminded me of my favorite element so far, filmmaking wise, or the constant parallels between Kingpin and Matt. And it's as simple as the lighting cues, even at like the end of the first episode, like when there's like the red light sort of on Matt's face. Yeah, dude, and the white on the roof. Like it shows to me like throughout the season, we kind of see like they're trying to run from who they really are. And more importantly, like they're both, like you said, they're trying to be people they aren't, but deep down inside, like they are more similar than they would ever like to let on. And I think it's really brilliantly tackled as the season progresses. It's really great filmmaking. I don't think the writing's getting enough credit. I think a lot of people were, I guess, shaken up by the death of Foggy. But I think that something like that was probably necessary. You're coming back. You got to like flip the script, to quote Cobra Kai, and change our expectations, change our like perception of the show. And it feels different because, Karen isn't really around. Foggy's obviously dead. And so it's basically just Matt and some batch of new characters, but it's all about Matt and Kingpin here. And that conflict is always sort of central in Daredevil, especially in the back half of season 3. And so to me, I'm all game with what they've done. And I think that what I've noticed is a lot of complaints early on. I feel like by the end of the season, people will have a change of heart.
Okay.
Without saying too much.
Because for me, like the Foggy death, it bothers me. It doesn't me. It's the placement of the death. Like I kind of want it to be like it feels like something that would happen at the end, but it wouldn't work out what they're doing with Matt. Like, he put the mask away for good in his eyes. So I get why they did it. Like it serves Matt's character and like how else like so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see where the rest of the season's gonna end up. I love some of my favorite aspects of the Daredevil character is the fact that he's a lawyer in the courtroom scenes. I love films and TV shows with that aspect of storytelling because I'm a criminal justice major, so I know all the ins and outs of that. So, what will you say? Watch Better Call Saul.
I have told you to watch Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, and Sopranos. Don't listen to me at all. Really
listen, I tried Sopranos. It wasn't for me.
You did it. We sat down and watched it. And you were like, Yeah, it's all right. It's like, no.
Admittedly, I've only seen one episode, and it was a couple years ago. But I haven't gotten into it. But I will at one point in my life. I will Sopranos. But I've seen the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, each of them.
You recommend them?
Highly, yeah.
You think I'm the only one?
No.
Yeah, I
just
mean
need a
they're
second opinion.
they're universally praised for a reason. I think sometimes like the fan bases of the Breaking Bad universe can be a little like toxic online. They'll be like, "Oh, you like Cobra Kai or Stranger Things? How the hell do you like that? This exists." Like you can like multiple.
I didn't know that.
There's for me especially, people are like Stranger Mid, bro. I'm like, yeah, it's weird, but anyway. Just watch. I definitely recommend watching. I got through both shows. Like when I first watched Breaking Bad, it took like 3 weeks, and then I watched Better Call Saul years later when it when it was ending, and it took about 3 weeks. I binged it hardcore. Highly bingeable TV.
You know, Cody, you should watch Barry. You should watch Barry. You like
Dude,
Barry.
yeah.
Barry?
Yeah, Chris watched Barry. Yeah.
What is it?
It's a dark comedy with Bill Hader. You'll love it. It's so
30-minute eps, I'm pretty sure, for most.
Yeah,
for most of the seasons.
it's up your alley. 30-minute episodes. You get through it easily.
Yeah.
If you can't watch 45 an hour unless it's Cobra Kai.
Oh, shut up, you.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. There's like a lot of talk about the supporting cast of Born Again. How do you feel about them?
Like outside of Wilson and Matt?
Yeah, outside of Wilson and Matt, yeah.
So like I'd say is the third main character essentially his new like therapist girlfriend whose name's escaping me. That's like one of the new main characters, right?
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, she's fine. There's some, I guess who's he running his new law firm with? I forget her name. Is it Kristen? Is that her name?
Kirsten, I think. Kirsten?
Yeah. So she's one of the new characters. I wouldn't say there's any real major like standouts. But I don't really care, if I'm being honest. Like they're serviceable side characters. Like I'm here for Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. Like the poster behind us signifies.
I feel like people are just missing the absence of Foggy and
probably.
So. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's
I'm the same way. They're all right. They're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, this is funny when me and Cody watch it. When they do like the BB report, it really pisses me off. Like, it's not what it's not what it's just the placement of it really annoys me. Like I don't know how you feel. Like her character's fine. It's just the freaking the placement of it. It just happens like after like a big scene. It's like
almost a built-in advertisement, like a commercial.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. That's why I don't like it.
I'm like, RJ, it's gonna happen the whole season. I can tell you right now. And you're like, no, don't want it.
You reminded me of one of the supporting cast though. Michael Gandolfini's character.
Yes,
he's one of the best new additions for me.
I like him
just because. He seems, he's like a kid who's trying to like rise up in the political world, and
he's my favorite supporting.
Yeah, he's he might have shady motives at times. Like, is he loyal? Like, I love that. That's one of the more fascinating new characters for me.
Yeah, because I think
his father's Tony Soprano. His father is James Gandolfini. That's his father.
Oh, I knew that already. You already educated me on that information.
You should watch that.
Hold on. So. Yeah, because we're up to the point where he just kind of snitched on Fisk's plans and stuff, and he like crashed out in his office with him, and he's like, "Oh, I thought that was a good scene too."
Yeah,
last episode. He's just a funny character too.
Yeah, I agree. He's kind of a goober.
Yeah.
So he was the scene where he was talking to I think it was Fisk's advisor. And like she's like, I don't care, just get it done. Don't do it again. And he's like, he's trying to apologize. She's just not having it.
But yeah, I'm super excited because like I didn't fully watch the Netflix show until leading up to this show, so I was like taking in all of this like new information that I had never seen before. So I'm really liking what. Seeing like the differences and the similarities of what they're taking from the Netflix show to this show, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far because I'm a big Daredevil fan too.
Yeah, no, the show's great in my opinion. Would you guys say that tonally the show is about the same, like in terms of, subject matter, but also the, I guess, brutality? Like, how do you feel about that by comparison, like the Netflix show to the Disney Plus version so far?
I think the Netflix version is just a little bit more brutal. If I were to say, but what do you think, RJ?
I agree, and I think it's because of the lighting, and how the cinematography was in the Netflix show. It kind of helps with the mood of the show. So I think that Born Again, they're it's more of a not a light approach, but like it still has its brutal moments, like with the apartment fight scene. Like it still had it, but they're doing like a different approach because like it's more of a court drama like for these first few episodes. So I think we haven't gotten there yet. I can't really compare but just with I can only compare like how like the cinematography and like the lighting and everything is. That's the only thing I can really compare.
I would say, yeah, like aesthetically, the Disney Plus show is a little more polished. Like it has that Disney MCU, almost like a gloss to it. You know what I'm talking about? Like all the Disney Plus shows sort of have it, like just a look where it looks like they went over it with like a paintbrush to make it have the MCU filter, and that's missing in the Netflix show, which kind of made it stand out.
Yeah.
But I don't think the show like visually looks off though. I'm not put off by it. I know some people have complained. I wasn't too bothered by a lot of the visual effects choices, except for maybe like a rooftop scene. But that even then,
the only thing that I was really bothered by was the bullseye fight because like I could barely see it.
Yeah, fair.
That's the only thing that I was really bothered by, and some minor nitpicky things. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're gonna round off, but I think RJ wanted to pick your brain as we talked about some doomsday stuff. What you got for him, RJ?
So I've seen like your tier list. I think it was a video you put out of your comic book movie tier list about like what you're most excited about, and I think you put Doomsday and Secret Wars and like curious or like
yeah. I think I had like Need It Now as like the top tier, like the one I'm most excited for. Then have for like I'm looking forward to this, like I'm pumped, and then like I'm curious is like the middle of the road because I'm not fully sold on it.
Yeah, because I agree about like Doomsday and Secret Wars. I think the RDJ Doom casting kind of like just put me off. Like I don't know, like I just feel like at first I was like, holy shit, but then I sat down and I was like, what the hell are they doing, man? Like I was like, what's going on?
It bothers me. It bothers me too. Because he was the face of the MCU for the first 3 phases in Iron Man, and now you're asking the audience to view Tony Stark, even though he won't be playing Tony Stark, as the main villain. It's just a hard sell.
I remember I texted you about it. I was like, what the hell is that? So like, I was like, I think you were at like a wedding or something. I was like, what?
I was. Yeah, I was. I was like, this is not real. I was like, this is not real. And then I checked and it was legit.
But I think it comes off as desperate. Like it doesn't, it feels like something Marvel wouldn't do, but at the same time it does considering the phase that we're in. And I don't know, I love RDJ, but I'm a little like RDJ'd out. Like just let him go. Like bringing him back I have no issue with, but why it's like as Doctor Doom it just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like that movie. I guarantee you. I think I told Cody this the other day. It feels like it's gonna be. I guarantee that he's gonna play an Iron Man variant. Like he's gonna play an Iron Man variant, and he's gonna play Doom, and they're gonna have like a fight. I guarantee that's gonna happen. That's like and that's why like I'm not excited for it. And also like on top of that, it's the Russos. I'm not a big fan of the Russos. I love what they did with Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War, but it's like their comments, just kind of like what they say is just like I'm just not like the biggest fan of them, and I kind of wish Marvel like went into like a different direction. Like bringing them back just also feels desperate. It's like give like other filmmakers a chance. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like we're just sort of recycling what we've already done because they had their moment where they rode off into the sunset. I'm talking, Russo Bros directing wise, but also RDJ. Endgame was like his final hurrah. And so now to come back after some of your movies haven't really panned out financially or with critics or fans, and there's sort of an uncertainty in the universe, it's a bit concerning in my opinion. I'm more bothered by RDJ coming back than the Russos coming back, though, because the Russos have proven, even if it's Kevin Feige pulling all the strings, that if they have someone holding their hand through direction, whether it's them fully or Kevin Feige, whoever it may be, that they can make 4 great MCU movies. I'd say all 4 of their MCU movies are in the top 10 for me.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And so them coming back, if they're working with similar creative teams, like there's hope there. But RDJ, it's like you just won an Oscar, man, and you can kind of do whatever you want. Why return? It does feel desperate in a sense that is it just for the paycheck? That's the question I have, because RDJ is a fantastic actor, but is he just doing this for the paycheck? And more importantly, is Marvel just doing this to try and make bank with the Avengers IP? It scares me. It scares me. It really does.
Because
I agree 100%. It's like the lack of information, the RDJ, and just don't know where that's going to be going. And what was the other thing? Just the timeline thing.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the movies are releasing and just the whole timeline.
I think they should delay it.
Yeah,
delay it a year at least. I think to May, and then push Secret Wars to May of 2027 for Doomsday, May of 2028 for Secret Wars.
Yeah, I agree. Because to me, some people use this word. I think it's going to be corporate CGI slop. That's just why. I don't have any high expectations for it. I'm just kind of it just kind of it's an Avengers movie. You want to be excited for it, but I'm not there because it's I have too many questions and too many fears because not only you pivoted from Kang, which I get it, but going from Kang to Doom isn't a bad thing necessarily, even though you did so much build up to Kang. It's who you cast. If they casted someone fresh or new, as Doom, I think people would be more okay, they wouldn't be 50-50 on it. It's just the casting of it all, and it's I just don't know. I don't know where they're going with that movie. But,
Yeah, I've seen reports that Russos were we have a story that's going to challenge audiences with them getting on board. So I wonder what route they're going to take it. And it seems like all signs are pointing to us having Avenger variants across the board.
evil Avengers.
Evil Avengers. That's what it seems like. Did you guys see and or discuss the concept art that made the rounds?
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, no.
Okay. Did you even see it, or did you just?
I did see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I was I hope this is for Secret Wars, not Doomsday. But
yeah,
yeah.
It didn't Doom looked cool, but it didn't excite me. I think for that movie, I had to see a trailer. I had to see a trailer.
Yeah.
Once they're done filming, I had to see a trailer or something because I don't know. I'm not there yet. With
fair,
that.
and you would think if the movie is gonna stay true to its release date, which is May of next year, that we'll have a trailer by the end of this year, in December.
Yeah,
because
didn't they do that for both Infinity War and Endgame? They went a
trailer.
Yeah.
So you would think trailer by the end of the year, but they haven't even started filming, I don't think, yet. So
I think they start filming in April.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to make it. I think it's getting pushed.
I think they should push it after Spider-Man. That's what I think they should do it.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of seeing Spider-Man in an Avengers movie before we see him in his own movie.
I agree.
Especially after No Way Home. I feel we should see him in his own movie first and then see him in an Avengers movie.
100%.
That's how it should be, man. But I guess we shall see. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming on, man. We definitely got to bring you back after all the all the episodes of Daredevil Born Again.
Absolutely.
Released, so we can talk full spoilers and just get into all the nitty gritty and juicy details. But make sure to, or I'm gonna let you do the shameless plug. Tell people where they could find you all over your socials.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram @FilmStocked. Letterboxd as well. I have a lot of fun over there. But yeah, that's it for socials. Thanks for having me, guys, and we'll have to run it back for the end of Born Again for sure.
Absolutely. Keep on thwipping, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.